Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to today's program. Friends, I tell you, it's a beautiful day here in northwest Louisiana. It's about 75 degrees, just has been a perfect day. And yes, I'm holding our great Kimber conversion of our .460 Rowland pistol, and yes, I'm holding the carbine. And remember, on the carbine, in fact, I just talked to the factory a little earlier today. This is Thursday as we're taping this. They've got some of the uppers on the way to us. So a couple of you folks have been waiting now for a couple of weeks, and we'll have them here at the program this week. I will test them and we'll send them right out to you. So please, we thank you for your patience, because I tell you what, that's something that it's worth waiting on, believe me, because it turns the AR-15 into a real gun. And I have talked to some police officers. We've got some police officers certainly interested in the carbine because our cartridge has so much more potential than the .223. And the good news is, if you'll notice on past programs, I don't know if you could tell or not, but our cartridge, our .460, is not nearly as loud, with much more power than the .223 Remington. Not nearly as loud though. And I've talked to some police officers about using our new .460 as a duty gun. And you know, there are some very fine police officers that work for sheriff's departments, police departments. There are even some nice federal people. And some of those folks, in an altercation, unfortunately, their lives are on the line more so than we as an individual. And I can't think of a better life insurance policy than one of our .460 guns, because how many shots do you get? And let's talk about that for you as civilians. You know, I've got a couple of newspapers here, right here in our little rural area here. Here in northwest Louisiana, there's a newspaper article on a young man who murdered an older couple. And I'm not going to read. This is awful. I won't go into detail, but he had a knife and he forced them to drink a poisonous household cleaner. This is awful. And then he cut their throats. You know, what if they had had a .38 special revolver, much less one of our great .460s to defend themselves? What if they had just had a .38 special revolver? And this young man killed them both. And they were very fine people here in our local community. And he's convicted, in fact, this week. And also in the same week, right here in our little area, Jasper, Texas is not that far, and we've got a newspaper article here on, excuse me, on 3 young men overpowered another man and hooked him with a log chain to the back of a pickup truck, and they drove until he was in pieces and brutally murdered him. Now in this case, it was 3 white men that murdered a black man. In the other case, it was a young black man that murdered 2 white people. You know, murder and brutality is not a racial issue, because the human, once he becomes an animal, is capable of unbelievable torture, unbelievable things. And that is the very reason, because people are capable of doing great evil. You know, there are some animals, such as the coyote, the lion, others, that kill for fun. Go out among sheep, cattle, and absolutely just kill for the sport of it. Well, guess what, friends? There are people who will do the same thing. Well, you know what? I don't believe there's a place for people like that in our society. And rather than going to all the trouble of going through a court trial, you can deal with it on the spot. Maybe you can arrest them and hold them until the law will take over. But you know, at that moment of truth, when the police are not around, when there's no one to help you, that's when these predators strike. And you know, our hearts go out to the families of that retired couple, because it was a horrible thing that happened to them. And think what their children and grandchildren will have to live with for the rest of their lives. Every time they think about Mama and Papa or Grandpa and Grandma, they're going to remember that young man. You know, he didn't just kill them, he tortured them. And think about, you know, the family of that black man over in East Texas. Every time his name is brought up at a family get-together, whatever, they're going to see those images of his body being in pieces, how he was literally dragged to death. If he had had a handgun, you know what? There's a good chance he'd be alive today, and those three degenerates that killed him, well, you know, they don't deserve to live. Just like this young man that killed that older couple. They don't deserve to live. And you know what? These folks that have been caught are not the only ones out there. Let me tell you, look at people like Henry Lee Lucas, who was a serial killer. There are others out there. My goodness, there are people that have no conscience, no feeling, no regard for anybody else. And that's why we have handguns and other guns for self-defense. And I tell you what, when I read these articles, and then I'll read other articles on how people have defended themselves, that's when I think about Sarah Brady and people like this worthless scoundrel scum that's in the White House who want to disarm us. It makes me so angry. I don't care how tired I get of struggling. I don't care how tired I get of begging for money to stay on the air. I don't care, because we've got to fight these people. We have got to call to the attention of the Congress and the sold out Senate. They proved it to the world. They're sold out. You know, this woman from Arkansas that Clinton raped, she says he raped her, and of course the nurse is still living. A lot of people who, you know, Bill Clinton has nothing at all to establish his credibility. Nothing. But these people who've accused him, they're people that are kind of known in their community. You know what I'm saying? Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones. Hey, wait a minute. A lot of criticism on Paula Jones and Ken Starr. Ken Starr just got to some of the truth. You know, the information on which was sworn testimony from this woman in Arkansas, the NBC finally, I guess they got so much flack they had to run that interview. But this woman that accuses Bill Clinton of rape, you know, she's well known in her community. She's a nurse. She didn't need the money, didn't want the attention. But you know that these sorry congressmen and these sorry senators in that hole in the ground in Washington, D.C., which is just about become, do you know that they had all this information spread before them? What about that Republican senator from Maine? A lot of good people in Maine. But what about that Republican senator, Olympia Snowe, who said, okay, no, she wasn't going to vote to convict? What about Tom Daschle? What about him? What about Robert Byrd, who's supposed to be the conscience of the Senate? Conscience, my foot. He's worthless. He's a coward. He is absolutely shameless. If he'll stand up and defend a criminal like Bill Clinton. Hey, Al Gore's ended up to his neck. Hillary, my gosh, and I know we've got two of the finest gun companies in the country in New York. We got Kimmer, we got Dan Wesson. I know there are a lot of good. I talk to people in New York, but look who you got. Chucky Schumer. You know, and I wish I could throw stones, but we've got two worthless liberal socialists from here in Louisiana. When it comes to gun issues, when it comes, John Breaux, I'm ashamed of John Breaux. He's from Louisiana. He defended that piece of slime in the White House. Mary Landrieu, Miss Socialist herself, right here. You see, friends, the other side is working around the clock. They're working around the clock. And you know, here we stumble along, barely making it on television each week, because so many of our fine conservatives out there are so concerned about ever how much gold they're going to have in the bank to deal with Y2K or whatever else. We're losing our country. We are losing our country. And you know what? We don't have to. All we've got to do is reach enough decent Americans. I can prove that. I can prove it. It's just been a few short years ago when the Republicans literally took over the Congress, took over the House of Representatives, first time in 40 years, because people were sick of what the liberal, communist, socialists were doing. Well, what happened? Okay, the Republicans dropped the ball. Newt Gingrich showed what his colors really were, and they're not red, white, and blue. Let me tell you what, they're more like pinko. Newt did, you know, it was Newt that took out part of Senator Bob Smith's bill. It was Newt Gingrich that did that. Where was Trent Lott in the Senate making a stand? You know, it's a very embarrassing time here in our country. But maybe it has to come. Maybe we've got to prove and let them prove to the rest of us just how sorry our Congress and our Senate is. You know, these cities wanting to sue the gun companies. Well, hey, let's sue the cities for bad water. Let's sue the cities for all the idiot things they've done about not supplying police officers in the time of need, about all kinds of things. We ought to sue the mayors of those cities for trying to take away our civil rights as American citizens. We're not subjects here. We ought to sue the cities for that. And I understand that there's a little movement among even some of the, you know, the gun industry has not been a compilation of the brightest people. I've said this before. Even the half-blind, half-deaf don't know what their intentions are. Even the No Rifle Association, the NRA, that's who they are. Even they're making a little positive noise. Even them, as goofy as their leadership is. It's got to be done, friends. It's got to be done. You know, it has to be done. Because I, for one, and if you're watching this program, you probably feel a lot like I do. We can't let this go. You know, the news media comes on, they make a case for these liberal socialists. They defend, I heard Senator, I believe it was Senator Moynihan say from New York, say what a wonderful, wonderful President Clinton said we can't afford to lose him. Yeah, he may be a liar, he may be a criminal, and he didn't say this, but yeah, he may have sold us out to communist China, but he's so good we can't. What do you mean he's so good we can't lose him? He's a criminal. And we're not going to give our country away. We're flatly not going to do it. You want to help us stay on the air? You want to help us buy more TV time? Please, friends, whatever you can join our Gun Owner Rights Association. It's $50 per year, $300 for a life membership, and we figure that's plenty because if we don't get a movement started nationally in the next months as soon as possible, you don't have to worry. You know, now, old Lautenberg talking about restoring the 5-day waiting period on handguns. They got their instant check. They got that. You see, friends, it's never enough. The NRA keeps, in the past, has always tried to compromise with these nice people. They're not nice people. The liberal, socialist, communists are not nice people. They want to take away our country. They want to take away your and my right for free speech, for freedom of assembly, for freedom of religion, for the right to keep and bear arms. They want to take that away because they don't trust us to know what's best for us in our lives. They don't trust us. Well, you know what, friends? I don't trust them. And some of us we're going to the mat. We're not going to let them get away with it. You want to help us? Please join our Gun Owner Rights Association. Heck, maybe we ought to start a new political party. You can't trust the Republicans. You can't trust the leadership. You know where the Democrats stand as a party sold out to the communist Chinese. Hey, you know, I don't want to learn Chinese. There's some fine Chinese people, I know that, but I don't want to learn Chinese. I don't want to have to send in letters to the to the government or whatever. I don't want to have to send in a tax form or whatever else in Chinese. I don't want to do that. We're Americans. Maybe we need another political party. I don't know. But something needs to be talked about here, and our Gun Owner Rights Association is a good start. Friends, if you can, if you care, if you want to help us stay on here so we can keep talking about the things we are, here's our newsletter. Frank, Dean, and Ron DeLong are doing a wonderful job on our newsletter. When you sign up for our GRA, you get on the mailing list for the newsletter. No, we're not giving out our mailing list. I won't even tell people how many members we got. It's nobody's business but ours. So ours, yours, and mine as members. But please send, if you can join our GRA or you can contribute to help us stay on the air, please send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. And listen, our kits on our Great 460, and yeah, we'll do a spot for it a little later on the show. We'll do a little demo of something. Our Great 460 is only $275. We're not recommending them. Our kits for, say, the war relics or some of the World War II guns were not properly heat treated. And this is a high-performance cartridge. It's a high-performance kit. But any gun of good quality, of modern manufacture, whether it's a Kimber or a Colt or a Springfield, certainly some others out there that are good guns, that's what we're recommending them for. At this time, we can't recommend them for aluminum frame guns, and hopefully we'll have our stainless kits in sometime this week, because we've got several people we've been holding their order because we're waiting on the hard chrome compensator. So it's only $275. Listen, we can take your credit card if you want to buy on credit card. Yes, indeed. Remember, our upper on our AR-15, very simple. This is what you get, the upper right here, and one 15-round magazine. Yes, you can order extra magazines. 100% legal, no paperwork. We can send the kit to your house. You've already got a gun. Certainly we'll sell you one of these great Kimber conversions, but if you've got a 1911 full-size steel frame of modern manufacture, we can send it to your house. We don't have to ask anyone's permission. Isn't that neat? And yes, you can order ammo through Georgia Arms, and Curtis told me to let everyone know that all Georgia Arms is Y2K compliant. It's going to work whether ever computer goes down or whatever else. Georgia Arms ammo is going to work. They are Y2K compliant. We can send the upper. Again, we don't have to ask anyone's permission. Isn't that neat? Isn't that different in today's society? So yes, we can. $559 plus $12 shipping and handling for the upper on the AR-15, $275 for the pistol. And I'll tell you what, friends, it's a tremendous thing. We'll show you in just a moment. We'll do a little comparison. We are now Dan Wesson distributors. If you're a dealer, or if you'd like to have one of the great new Dan Wessons in 460, or any other great Dan Wesson, you can order through us. Certainly give us a call. We'll send us your FFL or what. Just call and talk about it, whatever you want to do. And I want to give some thanks and a plug here. Thanks, first of all, to Tom Gresham. Tom Gresham is now writing for Guns and Ammo magazine, and I was a guest on Tom's radio show this past Sunday, and tell you what, friends, he could not have been nicer. Let us talk about our 460. He could not have been nicer. And in the current, the April issue, April issue of Guns and Ammo magazine, Tom Gresham has a really nice piece here in his column. This is the first time in anybody else's print. Of course, we got it in our newsletter, but this is the first time Tom sort of scooped everybody on that, that we have appeared in print about the new cartridge. So also, something else, and it's really neat, in the April, let's see where it is. Here it is, if I can find it here. Well, I ought to have what month it is. It says here, it's bound to be April. Here we go. Of Shooting Times, a new issue of Shooting Times, and Mike Venturino's column there, and I don't know what page. Here we go. It's got a very nice piece here on the Georgia Arms 45 double action Colt cartridge, and we really appreciate Mike Venturino, and we appreciate Shooting Times putting a little mention about what we've done. They mention yours truly here in our show. Every time our shooting show is mentioned, just like Tom Gresham, he mentioned our shooting show and who we are, and this helps our project. You know, the hardcore enthusiasts buy the magazines. We have just a lot of people that are casually interested in firearms as well as enthusiasts watch our show, but we appreciate them saying some nice things about us in the new Shooting Times and also in the new Guns and Ammo magazine. And we want to thank Tom Gresham. His Gun Talk radio show is on Sundays from from 2 to 5 Eastern time, 1 to 4 hour time here at Central, and he comes on after our radio show on the American Freedom Network on Sunday. He's on the Talk America Radio Network, and certainly Tom is very well versed, and he has a most entertaining program, and our thanks go out to him again for being so nice to us this past Sunday, and we really do appreciate it. And Tom gets certainly a vote of thanks, and also to our friend Mike Venturino. Okay, now then, all these things said, let's start another shooting show. We have a great show for you today, and what I have here, I've got a 44 Magnum 4-inch revolver. Observe the water bottle there on the left. Actually, let's just shoot that water bottle, see what happens with this 44 Magnum 240 grain jacketed hollow point. See what it does. Okay, friends, that's what a 44 Magnum is supposed to look like on a water bottle. Let's take our 460 Rowland. Same drill. 185 grain jacketed hollow point bullet moving 1,550 feet per second. See what happens. Now, it's no coincidence that the results of a 44 Magnum revolver and our 460 are darn near identical. I think our 460 is leading it. Yes, in fact, the 460, you can't get the velocity out of this revolver that you can from this 460. That's okay. That is by design, friends. I think every decent citizen in America, every patriotic citizen, decent person in America who's can own a 1911 needs one of these 460 kits, don't you? I think so. Only $275. Include $5 shipping and handling, please. And yes, we can take credit cards. Now, friends, we got a nest of them right there. Got a little covey of them in midair. Let's have a little fun with the carbine. And we have one escape.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here it is. This is the great Georgia Arms 45 DA Colt or double action Colt cartridge. This is the first major improvement on the Colt 45 since 1873. They have this in loaded cowboy ammunition. They're also selling brass, so you can load your own combinations. This cartridge case is absolutely a joy to work with. We're even seeing improved accuracy, we think due to the slightly larger rim on our 45 DA Colt case. You can get a free catalog, or you can order these from Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861 for their entire lineup, and please tell them you saw it here on our show. Now friends, of course, the cowboy load is mild but super accurate. And of course, you can take your hand loads up to the limit of what the loading manuals will allow. The great 45 double action Colt cartridge from Georgia Arms. Give them a call today, friends. A free phone call with a free catalog.
And yes, friends, I want to tell you, Georgia Arms is actually running. They have doubled their shifts. They're producing ammunition at max capacity, although they are keeping up pretty well, and they're supposed to go into manufacture just immediately. In fact, by the time you see this, they probably will already have begun manufacture on our 460 cartridge. All Georgia Arms ammunition is Y2K compliant. That means it's going to work whether your computer does or not. They have the finest lineup of handgun and rifle ammunition available in the United States. It's certainly the best prices, so please give them a call and go ahead and ask them about our 460, because it is online to be produced. 1-800-624-6861, and please don't forget to tell them that you saw it here on our show.
Now friends, what we're looking at here is one of the truly great American rifles. This is a 340 Weatherby, and I tell you what, we're talking about a 250 grain bullet running around 3,000 or so feet per second. Really a remarkable piece of work. This has the composition type stock, and let's look briefly inside the Weatherby action. This is important. You know, the Weatherby has one of the strongest actions going, and you see those locking lugs there. There are actually 9 of them on the Weatherby. It is a large and extremely strong action designed around these super powerful Weatherby calibers. And typically Weatherbys come with 26-inch barrels because they are running with more powder, and this particular gun has been fitted with a superior muzzle brake. Let's take a look at that brake. And of course, these are holes. Muzzle brakes have really become in more common usage in the last few years because, one, people have found out just what a good job they'll do at lessening recoil, and certainly it does increase muzzle blast, and yes, it does increase noise somewhat, but on one of these super powerful Weatherby calibers, the muzzle brake there really does a remarkable job of taming the recoil force that hits your shoulder. You know, a lot of the recoil on a powerful gun is actually gases leaving the muzzle of the rifle after the bullet exits. So if you can redirect some of those high pressure gases, and realize this Weatherby is a very high pressure cartridge, if you can redirect some of those gases, well, it will certainly lessen the amount of recoil. The 340 is sort of an improved 338 Winchester. Of course, we've got a great, and we appreciate one of our viewers actually has loaned us this gun and another Weatherby we'll get to on another program. Nice enough to loan us these guns for testing on the show. And this is just a fabulous scope. This is a Swarovski. Really one of the very best long-range, high-powered scopes out there. Many times these Swarovski scopes will cost more than the gun itself, but probably in the case of this Weatherby, it's a toss-up. But we have a stainless steel, a fluted barrel here. And I'll tell you what, friends, Weatherbys were made in Belgium. I believe for a while they were certainly made in Japan, and now they have moved their rifle-making business here to the United States. So we can proudly say that these guns are made here in America. In the past, Weatherbys have gotten somewhat of a bad rap for the simple reason you've got a huge case here. Let's take a look at this 340 here. You've got a large case, and you've got a tremendous amount of gunpowder in this 340 case, and the other Weatherbys too for that matter. And the Weatherbys, typically, they're sporting guns, they're hunting guns. They would have slim barrels, so what would happen, all that gunpowder would heat up the barrels in just a few shots, and then your barrel, being rather slender, would maybe start to walk its shots. But really, they were designed to make a couple of shots or so on a game animal, and believe me, if you hit them right with one of the Weatherby calibers, the game animal's probably not going to run far if he's hit right. Anyway, let's take a closer look at the cases for the 340. My friends, we're looking at a loaded round of this great, this is a 200, I believe 210 grain Nosler partition bullet, but in this tremendous 340 Weatherby. And let me make a quick comparison. We've got a shell that a lot of us are familiar with, the 30-06 here. Let's see if we can get focused just a little better on our 30-06. It's got a little bit of discoloration, but it still will, I think, prove my point. This is a round that is the great American classic, or classic for hunting here in North America, the 30-06 Springfield. And I want to show you just how much bigger the 340 is. My goodness, look at that. And it's bigger all the way up. Another difference in the standard caliber, such as 30-06, see how you have a rather sharp shoulder where the angle goes inward toward the bullet here, kind of a sharp shoulder, and the Weatherby has a rounded, they call it double radius thing, and this is something that Roy Weatherby came up with years ago, and he liked it. To my knowledge, no one else has used this particular system, but no doubt the Weatherby cartridges are really super performers. Yes, they take more powder, they're maybe not quite as efficient, but they also have had a long history of running bullets faster than just about anything else out there. Only now are there some competing shells or from different manufacturers that have only recently equaled or passed the Weatherbys. Now, friends, we're losing our light down here this afternoon, but we are going to group the gun. I really haven't, I've only shot it a couple of times to see just what the recoil function, see what it feels like, but we will be doing some groups with it probably on next week's program and let you get a look. But it's really neat. This Swarovski scope, you just got a tab there and press it, and you flip up the scope covers there. And I tell you, on any of the big guns, I normally, if I'm going to shoot them off of interest, I'll bring a pass recoil pad because we do enough shooting that you don't want your shoulder pounded. And the bigger Weatherbys, the 300, the 340, and on up, of course, are known for having pretty good recoil. But in recent years, we're seeing more and more of these muzzle brakes. And I tell you what, I'm going to kind of go out on a limb. This 340 Weatherby shooting a 210 grain bullet, to me, kicks maybe like a 308 in a regular bolt action. Now that, trust me, I was as shocked as anybody else. Our friend who loaned us this gun says, you won't believe it, John. He says, of course it is heavy. Yes, it's got a nice long barrel, a heavy barrel there, but still, I was expecting to get pounded on my shoulder. And he's telling me, he said, well, his wife shoots it. And I said, well, how about that? I mean, maybe she's an exceptional woman shooter, but let me show you something. Go ahead and put one in and apply our safety, because there's a point I want to make here. On any of the harder kicking magnums, you've got to be aware where the back of your scope is, because many times people get excited out in the game field and they'll be looking down and be hugging the scope, and on a hard kicking rifle, ka-wham, and then they got a black and blue or bleeding eyebrow. So that's something you really have to think about. If this were my gun, I would mount the scope further forward to get it away a little bit there, so I'm going to hang back a little bit. But I tell you what, it's pretty amazing. Let's go ahead and shoot it one time. Just let you watch me and realize we're talking well over 4,000 pounds of muzzle energy. This is a real, the 340 is an excellent elk gun, a gun that a lot of hunters really recommend for going after the big bears, the brown bears, even some of the larger African Plains game, things like that. The 340 is really recommended for things like that. So we'll go ahead. Let me bring the scope. This is a 24 power Swarovski. And we got our target over there. Just watch it in my hands this afternoon. You see how much that didn't kick me? Now, it definitely, you got a muzzle blast. And yeah, I am, my ear protector's in really well, but wait a minute, friends. I don't know if it kicks as much as a 308 Winchester. You get a push, but I don't mind telling you, I have been absolutely amazed. And something else that I can't explain. When you shoot see, we just pulled this empty hull out of this gun, and it's hardly warm. Now the barrel is, a little bit warm, a little bit, but I don't understand this. I got to ask somebody about this on why that case ought to be hot, but they're not. Beats the heck out of me. I mean, my goodness, you have a case come out of a 45 or a 9mm, it'll burn you, or a case out of a 223 or something, or 308. And it'll be so hot you can't hold it. And these huge Weatherby cases, I could have caught it in my hand coming out of the gun. It's not hot. I cannot explain that. I don't know why. But you'll notice that is really an amazing, the recoil just wasn't there. No need for, it's got a real nice recoil pad on it, but I tell you what, friends, that is a fantastic piece of work on this muzzle brake. And I'm really anxious. We're going to bore sight it. We're going to test it for groups and see what the gun will do. But something we wanted to get on today's program, because certainly we want to do some rifle stuff when we get a chance. Really a piece of work, this 340 Weatherby, and one that I am certainly looking forward doing a full test. And the sun's going down. We're just about out of time for what we can tape on today's show. But I want to show you that. Just amazing. I tell you what, some of the other companies are starting to come with Weatherby ammo, and this is a complaint that a lot of people have about the Weatherby rifles. The ammunition is so expensive, and I'm not sure who makes their cases. I think Norma is the only manufacturer that makes the Weatherby, for the Weatherby company anyway. But this is something that I don't know about Remington, don't know about some of the other brands out there, but I wish that some of our American manufacturers would start making some of these Weatherby cases so we can get the price down, because these really are pieces of work engineering-wise, and I'm as anxious as you are to see just how this old gun's going to shoot.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now, friends, what we're looking at here is maybe one of the most important things we'll ever show you on the program. This box literally contains a food supply. And you know, you can live without a lot of things, but you can't live without food and water. And this is from a new sponsor of ours, Millennium Foods, and this is really remarkable. You know, let's go a little closer and look. Not only do we have foods, there are 3 complete meals in each one of these great cans here. They're similar to the MREs from the military. Of course, you know, they're not on sale anymore. The MREs are no longer being offered to the public. But something else is so important here. You have 21 meals, you have 7 cans, 21 meals here, but you also have pure drinking water and a number of other things. You have some Band-Aids, you have a can opener, you have an emergency blanket. All sorts of things are included in this jungle supply package here. These are jungle meals. It's a case that is very reasonably priced, and this is something that a lot of us would like at the hunting camp, certainly for a survival type situation. As we said, friends, this would be great for a hunting camp. It would be a great package for you to keep in your vehicle, and who knows what's going to happen. If in the event of a hurricane or a riot, Y2K is coming up, you might need a week or 2 of food. This is very, very reasonably priced. All you have to do, you don't have to add water or anything. You can heat them if you want to, but they're delicious. They're ready to eat. 3 meals in each one of these cans. This one is backcountry style beef and rice, Mountain Man omelet, bacon and potatoes, Chicago style pork and rice, and each can also has real meat jerky and 5 high energy survival food bars. Friends, I tell you what, we appreciate so much Millennium Foods joining our project, because they understand what dangerous times we live in. This is a complete pack. You can open it or you can leave it closed. You know, regardless on food, these things will last for up to 10 years. You don't have to worry about it. Hopefully there won't be a crisis. But wouldn't you rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it? And my goodness, friends, those of us with families out there, nobody knows what the Y2K deal's going to be. I hope it's not much, but it may be really serious. If there's a run on grocery stores, guess what? There's only a day and a half's food on grocery shelves all across the country. So many of us don't have anything at all stored up. And literally, this would be a great thing to take hunting. If you're going on a camping trip, it would be great for that. It is very economical for what you get. And I tell you what, please give them a call. Thank them for joining us here at the Shooting Show, helping to sponsor our program. These are absolutely fantastic packages here. The jungle meals, like we said, you get water, you get even get some tabs there that will purify more drinking water if you need it. Comes fully equipped, comes with silver can opener, the whole shooting match here, friends. Honestly, this is a great deal, and please give our friends at Millennium Foods a call and get some free information on this, because this is a great thing. It could mean the difference between life and death in a crisis for many of us. So please give them a call.
Friends, this is a tremendous value, only $245 per super case plus $19 per case shipping. And they accept all major credit cards. And listen, for every case they sell to viewers of this program, they will donate $5 to our Gun Owner Rights Association through the end of March of this year. So this is a tremendous thing. Give them a call, 1-800-500-9893. You can find them on the internet at www.junglemeals.com. Again, 1-800-500-9893. Please call them today, and please tell them you saw it on our show. You know, friends, we're always trying to encourage places to shoot around the country, and here's some folks we ran across at the SHOT Show. This is the Super Trap Containment Systems tape, and this could be useful for some shooting clubs around the country. We thought we'd show it to you today.
Hi, I'm Bud Marable, range consultant for Super Trap Bullet Containment Systems. Let me just take a minute to tell you about a revolutionary new concept in shooting ranges. SuperTrap is the originator of containment systems utilizing loose ballistic media for bullet encapsulation. While there may be imitator traps, SuperTrap is the only company with 100% quality and performance. In fact, over 90% of the ranges that SuperTrap installs are replacements of conventional steel and sand bullet traps. SuperTrap offers the most advanced, environmentally conscious, and safest range system available. Our ranges were created as a result of first-hand experience with health and safety problems at shooting ranges throughout the United States. Firing into traditional steel traps produces lead fragments and lead dust. These pose serious health and safety concerns to range personnel and shooters. Additionally, it becomes difficult to comply with EPA and OSHA standards. To do so requires expensive hazmat lead mining cleanup. Our bullet containment system is capable of being shot safely at point-blank range with no chance of bullet fragmentation and with full encapsulation, giving you unlimited flexibility in developing training scenarios. The SuperTrap system eliminates the costly expense of cleaning and maintenance that occurs with a conventional steel or sand trap. The bullets are recovered whole from our trap, virtually eliminating lead dust. SuperTrap will mine and maintain your system at no additional cost. We at SuperTrap design, build, ship, install, and maintain your system. We take care of every detail to guarantee you the highest quality. And when we quote you a price to install a SuperTrap in your facility, it's all inclusive. Shipped, installed, ready to shoot. Compare that to other range builders. Whether you're looking for a public range, large military range, law enforcement range, live firehouse, custom residential range, or just a clearing box for your gunsmith, SuperTrap has the range for you. Whatever your needs, SuperTrap provides the safe, maintenance-free, proven bullet containment system. Don't settle for less. Please call us at 1-800-482-6994 for further consultation.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. And we want to mention the good folks at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the most complete gun shops in the entire United States. They do all sorts of things like this specialty meltdown on this new STI gun. Also, they have an excellent staff of people to help you with guns such as these Benelli Super Black Eagles, taking 3.5-inch magnums, a complete line of handguns, semi-automatics, revolvers, all sorts of neat things in the shop there. And of course, here's Mr. Jim Clark himself out helping a customer, some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. They have a complete line of loading supplies, loading tools, gunpowder, you name it, primers, all sorts of accessories for your guns, whatever you might need, certainly within reason. Here's Kay Clark Michalik when she's not winning championships, back working there in the office. And here's her husband, Jerry Michalik, the fastest revolver shooter in the world, when he's not winning championships at work. Here's Jim Clark Jr. back on the lathe, the same drill, when he's not winning championships, working right there in the shop. That's why you can get such complete quality of product and expertise here at Clark Custom Guns. Friends, give them a call today, area 318-949-9884. They have a great catalog. We appreciate them supporting our project. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being with us on today's program. You'll recognize this fine gentleman here next to me, none other than Leroy Scott, the good judge on the shooting show. And, sir, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Johnny.
Well, I guess you've heard by now that Lautenberg, they're trying to reinstate the 5-day waiting period on handguns. Well, wait a minute, Judge. Wasn't it supposed to be over when they got the instant check?
Yeah, but that's typical of the gun grabbers. They promise one thing and then do another.
It's always that way, isn't it, Judge?
Yeah.
Now, you've been on this scene a lot longer than I have. You have seen the gun grabbers at work for many years, and I bet the first compromise they said, well, this is all we want. Did they say that?
That's about the size of it.
Well, in 1968, now we have the yellow sheet that we have to fill out when we buy guns. They said, well, it really wasn't for registration. It was just to help the police trace guns. You remember about that?
Yeah, but how are they going to trace guns if they don't keep the yellow sheets?
Well, that's exactly right, unless the government has the yellow sheet. Of course, now they've gone well past that, and we're having to ask permission to buy guns from people. You know, Judge, if we trusted them, it'd be different. But could you tell me which agency of the federal government you trust?
Can't think of one.
Well, friends, that's the way it is. That's the way it is, and that's why we're trying so hard to stay here. I just picked up another kit out at Clark Custom Guns, our good friends there in Houghton, actually Princeton, Louisiana. It's right next door to Houghton, actually. And this is our 460 Rowland kit. Here it is. It's the Douglas match grade premium barrel with Clark compensator, properly chambered for 460 Rowland. Has the spring kit, the two-piece guide rod, all you need to convert your 1911. And we are encouraging that if you want to convert your 1911, we're talking about full-size guns, of course the great Kimbers, Springfields, Colts, and some others, but we're recommending them for the more modern manufactured gun, because some of the old war veterans, while it'll actually work, there's some question about the heat treat that was used on some of the war veterans, and there's no need, and we don't want to encourage premature wear of the gun. So we're only recommending them now at this time for the more modern manufactured guns. But certainly this is a most remarkable kit. Turns your 1911 into a 44 Magnum class gun. And Judge, wasn't Tom Gresham nice to us last week?
Yeah, he was very good, Johnny. While I'm thinking about it, though, you're telling me that I can't use the kits on my military weapons from World War II.
Judge, we're not recommending it now for the simple reason. Some of them it would work well on, but there were some, the Remingtons especially, had spot heat treating, and we don't know. And that's what we're saying, if we flatly don't know what the wear characteristics may be. I think it'd work all right, but we're not recommending them.
How about the Argentine 45s?
Well, again, that's a case we flatly don't know. Now, the Argentine guns were very nice. I've seen several of them, and they are very nice guns. But rather than, it's just trying to protect the interests of our shooter and ourselves.
How about the Norencos?
The Norencos ought to be great. Should be great. The Norencos are very high, very strong, heat-treat steel, and it should be good on them. So, and a number of others out there. And truthfully, we don't know about the aluminum frame guns. We've got one of our viewers has ordered a kit for an aluminum frame gun, and he specifically said, well, if he tears it up, he'll just, or it wears out prematurely, he'll do something else. But friends, realize this is like putting a Ferrari engine in a Chevrolet. And your Chevrolet chassis, you want it to be good, but certainly the modern manufactured guns, we've seen no problems at all. And I tell you what, these kits have helped us get here today. $275 plus please send $4 or $5 for shipping out to you, because we have to buy a box, and shipping is several dollars too. So if you would include about $5 for shipping. But see, there's no paperwork here. We can send these to your home just like the carbine, the upper conversion for the carbine. No paperwork. Heck, Judge, we don't have to ask anybody's permission on that. Don't you think that's neat?
I'm sure somebody overlooked it.
Well, get them while they're hot, friends. Get them while you can. Again, this month's Guns and Ammo magazine, Tom Gresham gave us a very nice section in his column on the new cartridge, and we do also appreciate Mike Venturino with Shooting Times magazine for mentioning our 45 double action Colt cartridge. Well, friends, this fight is going on. We're not going to quit. We need your help to continue. If you care about seeing the shooting show continue on the air, will you please help us? Will you join our Gun Owner Rights Association? Please, friends, do whatever you can. Remember, our mailing address is the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Of course, our phone number, 318-377-5189. And please, that's how we're here, is with your help. And if you don't mind, please help us promote these kits. This is a major development in the firearms industry, and certainly none of us knew what the capabilities of this thing were going to be, but it is exciting. We have someone now working on some loads specifically for the new Dan Wesson revolver and for the Thompson Center Contender. So please, if you will, please help us promote these kits. And you've got our phone numbers. Yes, we can take credit cards now. So a lot of things going on, friends. We're going to stay in this fight, and we ask you to stay in it with us. Sir, comment, sir.
And friends, we'd like to recognize our support group. We have Steadcraft, a custom machine shop in Torrington, Connecticut. Their number is area 860-496-7001. We have our friend Dennis Crocker, a firearms trainer in South Carolina. You can reach Dennis at area 864-587-8722. We have Dennis and Jeannie Ritchie with custom leather work and saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Their number is area 504-667-9225. We have the folks at Camouflage Technologies that paint gun stocks. Their number is area 909-674-6488. We have Flying Horse Galleries, the folks with the artwork on the internet there. You can find them at www.flyinghorse.net. And we have our friend Bruce Warren with BC Armory in East Leroy, Michigan. Bruce works on pistols and revolvers. You can call him at area 616-729-5508. Also, we want to recognize the Little River Trading Company. They're in Cadiz, Kentucky. They specialize in Civil War memorabilia, Confederate, in fact, Civil War memorabilia. Their number is area 502-522-6167. Friends, we're very close on time, but please remember our radio show on the American Freedom Network on SpaceNet 4, Channel 19, 5.82 audio from noon to 2 o'clock on Sundays, and also our gospel show on Sunday morning from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time on G6 Channel 7. Again, thank you so much. Please help us promote our cartridge. We'll see you on the next program.